Greetings, New Beginning Church, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. I am excited to get to address you again concerning our church's continued response to the coronavirus pandemic in which we find ourselves in. As many of you are aware, we took a step into phase 2 about a month ago, engaging in an outdoor worship service, which has been a wonderful breath of fresh air and a great time for when we've been able to have that service, which has been at times difficult due to weather-related concerns. The success of adding an outdoor worship service and the way that those who have partaken have been able to engage in healthy, safe, and in positive ways helps us to be able to think about what it might look like to begin to open our Sunday morning in-person worship service for individuals to attend in person as well. There's a few things that need to be taken place to engage with that, but in consultation with our church board, our pastoral staff, our worship team, and some of our tech team members, we are beginning to look at what this will look like to be able to provide an in-person indoor worship service environment in the coming weeks. There's a few different things that are going to need to be changes to the ways we've done things in the past and the way that things are going. And so please listen carefully as we look toward what this might have to look like as we move toward entering into what will be phase 3 of our reopening for worship plan. The very first thing that's going to change has nothing to do with Sunday morning at all, actually. It has to do with our outdoor evening service. In engagement with some of you and the feedback that you've offered, we're going to be moving our evening outdoor worship service from Sunday evening to Saturday evening starting this week, August 1st. It'll be at 5:30 p.m. as it has been in the past, but we're going to be doing it on Saturday night instead of Sunday night. And the reason for it is that we've gotten some feedback from individuals who really would like to be able to attend it, but because of it being the last worship service of the weekend, they don't know until after our live stream has already aired whether the evening service is going to take place or whether we're going to have weather-related concerns that will make it impossible to engage with that service. By putting the outdoor service, which is weather contingent, at the front end of our weekend worship offerings, it allows for people to make the decision based off of whether they can show up on Saturday night to then make the decision and have Sunday morning as another worship option to be able to engage with. That'll begin this week, starting Saturday, August 1st. However, we also are looking at on Sunday, August 23rd. Right now, we are planning to have our first in-person worship service in our sanctuary at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. We will continue to do live streaming of that service, which will continue to be a primary focus during that service because we know there are so many of you who likely will decide to stay home because of health-related concerns, age, or just simply your own comfortability with this current environment that is going on. Let me say that as we move toward an in-person gathering, there are many restrictions and guidelines and pieces that are a part of being able to do this well and to do this in a legally compliant way. The first thing that will be required is that every person who's in the sanctuary, unless they are leading a part of the service from the front stage area, is required to wear a face mask throughout the entirety of their time in the facility. This is a part of the state of Maryland's current restrictions. It is law in the state of Maryland to wear a face mask at all times in a public facility, which a church building becomes when it opens its doors to all people to engage in the worship service. As such, we encourage you to bring your face mask, to wear it anytime that you are in the facility and at all, and to help us to be able to engage that well. In addition, we have to do a limited seating capacity sanctuary. In other words, we only have space for about 45 individuals to come and to worship on a given Sunday morning in the sanctuary. The reason for this is that we are required by law to physically distance our seating so that people from different family groups do not end up right next to each other and engaging in worship right smack dab next to each other. As such, we've had to spread our seating out across our sanctuary, offering a workable number of seating capacity of about 45 individuals to come and to be a part of the worship service. Those that would come and be above the 45 person maximum for the sanctuary, we are setting up another about 20 seats in the church basement where the children's church area is, and we will have the live stream available if there is an overflow need for those who would like to worship in that space as well. In addition to all of this, there will be no children's or nursery ministries available by the church. Families that would want to bring their kids to a worship service indoors on a Sunday morning need to keep their children with them at all times and be responsible for their children. And we would ask that they not be going around and giving hugs to other people or moving terribly much around the sanctuary. Obviously, these are kids. They're going to have squirmy moments and situations like that, but we do want to encourage parents to make the best decision based off of what they know about their children and their ability to be able to engage in the worship service without a children's ministry or nursery ministry opportunity. As a part of this, just as a personal note, I would say that in the Remsch household, my kids and my wife have made the decision that they will not be joining us on Sunday mornings during the 10:30 a.m. live stream time period for the foreseeable future. We have very squirmy kids that like to get out and give hugs to everybody else, and as a part of that, I am completely useless, basically, as I'm preaching and as I'm leading worship, to be able to help my wife to corral our kids well in the sanctuary. And so as a result of that, we've decided that outdoor worship is just a much better, much safer, much more expansive place for us as a family to be able to worship. Maybe that's the right call for your family, or maybe you have a different situation, but we would want to make sure to note that there is no children's ministry or nursery ministries available at this point in time during the Sunday morning service. Finally, the last piece of this is that we are going to ask that all pre-service and post-service fellowship conversations, the conversations that you have catching up and praying for one another and asking how your week was and checking in on how family members are doing, all that wonderful fellowship that occurs on a Sunday morning, we're going to ask that all of that take place outdoors, outside of the church facilities itself on a Sunday morning. The reason for this is really just we have a very small church building. Our foyer space is very small, and these create problems with being able to have people congregating and conversing and fellowshipping in places that others are trying to get from A to B and to walk to their seat and to get to different places. As a result, we would encourage that any who would attend on a Sunday morning to have their conversations before the service outdoors in the wide open spaces there on our property, and then following the service to leave the service immediately following the service, leave the building, and then to be able to engage in fellowship outside of the doors of the church at that point in time. This seems like it's quite a bit that goes into making this happen, but these are the pieces that are required right now to be able to begin to meet in a limited capacity for indoor worship here at New Beginning. We believe that this is a good next step to make, and we believe that the people of New Beginning Church have the ability to be able to deal and to work well with these restrictions in order to allow us to take the next steps in the process of reopening for worship. But I would like to note just a couple things as we finish up here. The first is that this is still a very fluid situation. There are 3 weeks until August 23rd, which is when we're planning to begin indoor worship and welcoming you back into the sanctuary. And a lot can change at that point in time. And if things do, we will do our best to let you know. The second thing is that indoor worship is not the right option for everybody. And this is the reason why we've offered multiple different avenues for worship. An indoor worship environment likely is not the best situation for those who have been identified by the CDC and other health authorities as being at increasingly at-risk demographics. Those who are above 60, those who have pre-existing health concerns, may want to think about this before showing up for worship. We love you enough to say we want to make sure that we are not the reason why you end up with a disease that potentially could be catastrophic. And so we would like to encourage you to engage with us either through outdoor worship or through the live stream of worship. We have these multiple avenues so that people who are in different places dealing with different health concerns, different stages of life, and different levels of concern and worry about the situation can have different ways of engaging in worship and being a part of the New Beginning Church family. I realize that there's a lot that's going into this, and I plan to send a written form of this out to our congregation via email. However, I would ask that you would keep this as a matter of prayer. Be praying as we work over these next 3 weeks to be able to prepare our facility, prepare our tech team, to prepare all of the pieces that go into making a service happen like it needs to happen at New Beginning. The other thing is that I would ask that you would continue to faithfully be a part of our church body, however it is that you believe God is calling you to engage in worship. We are a people who are partner with God to bring about new beginnings in Jesus Christ. And that mission truly is what unites us. We may not be able to all gather in the same place at the same time for quite a while. But that doesn't mean we still can't be unified in mission, because the church, first and foremost, is unified in Jesus Christ and in the mission of God that we have been given by Jesus Christ. And so continue to be those new beginning people, bringers of hope, bringers of light, bringers of grace to our community. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Have a great day.